Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, Errol Spence Jr. has a fight coming up really soon. He'll be taking on Leonard Bundu on August 21st at the Coney Island Amphitheater. That'll be a PBC fight, I believe, on a Sunday, I'm going to say. It was on a... I don't even know. It's August 21st. But, you know, America, us over here in America and the majority of the boxing world, we don't really know much about Bundu other than the fact that he fought Keith Thurman. And what we learned in that fight and what we know from reading about him, and like I said, those 12 rounds against Thurman, is that the guy is very awkward. He varies his punches very, very well. And he's just tricky. He's one of those hard guys. You know, you could look good against him if you're mentally disciplined and you can box well. But as far as like getting that highlight reel, knockout stoppage, that's very, very hard to do against a guy like this in Bundu. Regardless of his age, you know, he's 42 years old. You know, he's been in there well over 30 fights as a professional. You know, Olympic experience, was an Olympian for Italy. So with that being said, the guy knows a thing or two about boxing. And you know, Keith Thurman fought him. You know, he pretty much won most of the rounds, if not all the rounds, against him. But you know, it came at a time where Keith Thurman was embracing the knockouts for life mantra a lot more. He was very focused on getting the knockouts, and you know, that was really one of his first. You know, he had beaten Diego Chavez, but that was one of his, you know, as well as Diego Chavez, one of his first step ups in class, and he wasn't able to stop him, and then he was getting criticized for not stopping him. And I think it was hard because Bundu was, like I said, does a really good job varying his punches, changing rhythm. I think Thurman did the right thing by staying disciplined, like he should anyway, because he's better when he stays disciplined and starts boxing. But you know, with Errol Spence fighting this guy, you know, common opponent as Keith Thurman, this is a good measuring stick for where Errol is at, because you know, well, I think it was last summer, you know, Errol had a tweet after seeing the Khalees Colossal fight in regards to Keith Thurman, saying that he would murk that boy, as in he would destroy Keith Thurman. And you know, as time has went on, you know, and I've seen Errol fight in person. I covered his Algeria fight, and just always been very high on him. I think he would beat Keith Thurman pretty soundly. I made a video about that, titled Errol Spence would destroy Keith Thurman, and I gave my reasons why in that video. A stoppage win for Errol Spence over Bundu, I think, speaks a lot. You know, regardless if Bundu is 52 or 42, regardless if he's a journeyman, he's still a guy that nobody's ever stopped. He's still a guy that is very awkward, who like I said, changes tempos, changes rhythm very well. And when you have guys with his level of experience, regardless if they have the athletic gifts of an Errol Spence, those guys, when you do knock them out, you know, that gives credence to you and how good you are as a fighter. That gives you validity. And you know, this is another fight for Errol. You know, he had the Algeria fight, which I thought was good for his development. Looked very, very good in that fight. Knocked him out in the 5th round. Now he's fighting Bundu. If he's able to win this fight, I know he'll be in line for IBF title shot coming soon. So hopefully he can get that Kell Brook fight, because that's a fight I would love to see. I think Errol stands a great chance in that one. I think he stands a great chance against any welterweight, and I think a sensational win against Bundu, you know, as long as there's no funny business, should put him in line for a big fight against a Thurman, against a Garcia, against one of those top guys. And you know, I think, like I said, I'm very high on the guy. The only fighter I really believe can beat Errol Spence is not even at 147, and that guy is Terrence Crawford. So with that being said, and even in that fight, I really don't feel too safe in saying that. I just think Terrence is that versatile and that good to go up and win and beat a bigger guy like an Errol Spence. So yeah, man, I think this would be a lot for his career. It could also, you know, if he does go on to have a good performance against Bundu, it could also trigger maybe some ducking from Keith Thurman, some ducking from Kell Brook, and he might get relegated to fighting, you know, mandatory type guys. So we'll see how it shakes out. I think it's very important for him to get this knockout. Oh snap! I even forgot to read his quotes. Here's what he said about this. Actually, he said, I quote, "He's very crafty. Sometimes he switches from left hand to right hand, and he varies his punches too. He's been in a lot of fights and has a lot of good tools, so I can't overlook him. And if I overlook him and end up not looking good or losing or whatever, then I'm not going to be fighting for the IBF title. I take it one fight at a time. I'll fight Bundu, then I'll worry about the IBF. In the IBF, they're real good at enforcing the rules, so I'm not worried about all that at all. So just one fight at a time. I'm a rising star, and I want to look spectacular against him and get a knockout. The main goal is to win. That's what I'm looking for. If I'm not going to look for the knockout, if I can get the knockout, if it doesn't just come naturally, then I'll take the win. But that's the main goal overall, is to win. So there you have it. He's very, very, very focused. I think good point by Errol. The IBF is probably the best sanctioning body at enforcing their mandatories. So I think he's going to get his Kell Brook title shot if he's able to win this fight. And good measuring stick, and I think it means a lot to his career if he can stop Bundu. But you guys let me know what you think. What do you think an Errol Spence stoppage win over Leonard Bundu, a guy who was very awkward and Keith Thurman couldn't get out of there? Does that make you believe that Errol would have a really good chance of beating Keith Thurman? Leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.